We ain't just gonna sweep that shit under the rug. We gonna say, hey, this is what's happening. This is what you're doing to these people. But y'all don't want to hear that. Y'all just want to meet ride billionaires and trillionaires soon to be. But yeah, it's whatever. And welcome back, young scholars. I'm glad you could join me again today for another important lesson. Because today we'll be talking about our first trillionaire. Yay! I love this dystopian society. Yes! Oh, man. Look. You already know my feelings about billionaires. Now, trillionaires? Jesus Christ. What is going on? But we're about to get into it with a video from PMP, the Poor Man's Podcast, about Elon Musk becoming one of the first trillionaires. Soon, anyway. He ain't there yet. Let's check it out.
It's the decision that could pave the way for Elon Musk to become the world's first trillionaire.
It's not a money thing. It's a reasonable control thing.
It's a lot of zeros.
For the future of the company.
Tesla shareholders will gather in Texas today and vote on whether to raise his ownership in the company from 13% to nearly 30%. Under the terms of the potential deal,
crazy.
His personal wealth could eventually top $2 trillion.
Yeah. Hey, Elon, if you get this message, brother, hey, just $1 million to change my life. You give me $1 million, I damn near turn into a Tesla robot. You ain't even got to worry about it.
He'd need to meet some ambitious goals in the next decade.
I ain't going to beg for no money, but hey, if you want to, go ahead and slide me $1 billion, buddy. You got trillions, going to slide me $1 billion. That's what I need.
Including growing Tesla's stock market value from roughly $1.5 trillion to $8.5 trillion.
Oh, that's huge.
Deploying at least 1 million autonomous taxis.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I seen Asmongold have a take on this, and I thought that it was a really good take, but I want to expand on it a little bit. I think that all of the money, a lot of the money that he's going to make is going to come from the automated cars. I don't think the technology for the robots is there yet, so I think that's going to be far in the future. But the automated cars are actually very reasonable if you think about becoming a trillionaire. What people have to understand is one of the most profitable parts about Tesla isn't even the cars. The most profitable part about Tesla is actually the data collection. So the fact that when people drive these cars scan the road, they collect data, and you get nuanced roads that are a little bit harder to get data on, you get that data from these cars. And if you combine that with Elon Musk's satellite technology, well, then he's just primed to dominate automated cars in the future, especially in America. Now, he might have some competition overseas in China.
And these cars don't just scan road data and all this travel data and shit like that. They scan your personal data, too. They track your face and whatnot and all that. And that's what these companies really want to buy. They want to buy the human habits. It makes marketing so much easier. So, yeah, data, it's a big business. Huge.
Because I know they're working on some stuff. But as far as having a monopoly in America, he's just completely dominating. He's way ahead of anybody. And I think with these automated cars, it's going to be a huge transformation. It's just like the iPod to the iPhone. Like the iPod is considered basically caveman technology nowadays because it's essentially morphed into the iPhone. All of the best aspects of the iPod is just now better in the iPhone. So I think with his electrical cars, all of the best aspects will just be better in terms of automation. Like some of the worst parts about the electrical cars is that you have to sit and wait for them to charge. Well, if it's all automated, the car...
And they do pretty poorly in cold weather, by the way.
Cars can just go charge themselves. And if you're just getting dropped off, the car can just drive straight to the nearest charger and charge itself if need be and get ready for the next ride. And that's why I really think it's going to dominate for 3 reasons. One is going to really start to dominate when you get a bunch of these cars on the road and they're able to bounce signals off of each other by proxy. And when they get enough cars, they're going to be able to prove that this is safer than humans driving. And once they do that, they're going to pretty much dominate that market. And with this new political connections, it could get to the point where it's just eventually a law, especially if they can prove that it's safe enough. If you're driving manually, it will become against the law because it will be more dangerous for you to drive manually in the future. 2 is I think that they're just going to be able to outpace every single competitor. I mean, Uber, they're just as expensive as the cab drivers that they outcompeted just 10 years ago. And now we're in this position where Ubers cost just as much as cabs. But when you're talking about a driverless vehicle, you won't be able to compete with that in terms of price. So Uber and all those other Lyfts, those will all just be gone and you'll just have these bots. So there's a huge market for this product. And I think the third thing that's going to make automation huge is the fact that you'll be able to travel faster. You'll probably be able to go faster. So, yeah, I think in terms of this $1 trillion package.
Safe? Drive faster? Shit. and mandatory. We finna be looking like that iRobot scene in here. It's gonna be easy peasy. We're gonna just sit back, relax, chilling. All right. No manual override. I wouldn't mind it. But that does come with consequences. Those would be niggas losing their jobs. No more delivery men. No more taxi drivers. They're scarce anyway, as it is in New York. They're gonna be completely gone with this. And then Uber, Lyft, cut that shit too. They're gonna cut every human and probably lease out them cars for themselves. Cut the middleman out. They're going to have about 1, 2 technicians. And then that's it. Hoo-wee. Gotta love automation.
The automated cars is where the big money is. I think Elon probably knows that too.
And selling 1 million robots, like this one, called Optimus, which Tesla says can perform repetitive or boring tasks.
Look at this. Look at this. This thing right here, it ain't gonna be now. Maybe 20 years, maybe 30, 50, even 100. It's gonna replace you. It's gonna replace you, buddy. Look, I'm not one to be so pessimistic and to say that we're doomed in this capitalistic society, but when you don't got no job because all the AI is taking over, what can you do? And with nobody buying the products, there can be nobody selling them. It all is just going to collapse in on itself. That's just my take. Let's keep it moving.
Musk says having control of Tesla's future is more important than the money.
We're building millions, potentially billions of humanoid robots. I can't be sitting there and one day get tossed out.
But the pay package meeting fierce resistance. Protesters gathering at the Texas Capitol, saying one person should not be allowed to control that much money. The protesters echoing Pope Leo, who reacted to Musk's potential trillionaire status, saying if that is the only thing that has value anymore, then we're in big trouble.
Hollow words. The church been sitting on gold their whole fucking existence, okay? They've been taking money from everywhere. Which way and how? Don't trust them motherfuckers either. They just mad they ain't as rich.
Some investors say they'll vote for the pay package, but Tesla's 6th largest outside shareholder, Norway's sovereign wealth fund, says it will vote no.
If you defend billionaires, you don't know how much 1 billion is. You don't understand how big that number is, and that's okay. The human brain literally can't comprehend numbers that big.
Yeah,
but to
massive.
put it into perspective, 1 million seconds is about 11 days. 1 billion seconds is 31 years.
Yeah, big difference.
Most of us haven't even been alive for 1 billion seconds. If you were to stack $100 bills to make 1 million, it would be about 3.5 feet tall. If you were to stack $100 bills to make 1 billion, it would be taller than the tallest building in the world.
Yeah, and she's talking about 1 billion. Elon Musk has about 400 billion right now.
Over 3,000 feet tall. If you deposited $100 into a bank account every single day from the birth of Jesus Christ until now, you wouldn't even have 1/10 of a billion. In fact, if you were to make $100 every single day, it would take you over 27,000 years to get to 1 billion.
Yeah,
over
a lot of money.
27,000 years. That's longer than all of recorded human history.
Yep.
You spent $10,000 every single day. Every single day you woke up and spent $10,000. It would take you 274 years to spend 1 billion.
Yeah.
Even if you spent $10,000 every single day of your life. The difference between
Y'all get out there and start making money, okay? That shit's just out there. All this shit just funny paper at the end of the day. It's just shit that made up. It's made up. It's a bunch of ones and zeros in the system and just a bunch of paper. Going out there and get it. It's just floating out there. Y'all know how. I know. But going out there and get it.
1 million and 1 billion is just about a billion. And I don't think people understand that. You can work hard and become a millionaire. There is absolutely no way to become a billionaire without exploiting.
By the way, not like it matters, but I guarantee you this video was recorded on an iPhone. So, you know, those pesky billionaires giving you your iPhones. But I'm trying to find out who.
And it's not completely impossible to be a billionaire without exploiting somebody. You could win the lottery. Who knows? Maybe that should get up to, I don't know, 3 billion one year. You boom, you hit it. Now you're a billionaire. Congratulations, buddy. Now it's highly improbable if you're doing it through the normal ways to get to being a billionaire. without exploiting somebody in some form of fashion. It's just capitalistic society. That's how it is. Shit. Maybe some of your workers gonna have to work overtime. Maybe you're gonna say, yeah, you can't really take that vacation. Sorry, you're not on the schedule. Tough. That's just how society is right now. So y'all can change it, by the way. Y'all got the power. But, until the end.
Exactly is he exploiting? Because I'm assuming she's talking about he exploits his workers, because that's oftentimes the argument from these types of people. But his workers are the ones that are coming to him for a job, which is an opportunity, and they work for the wage that they agreed to as grown, consenting, autonomous adults. People like the word autonomy nowadays. So if they use their body autonomy to sign a contract to agree to a certain amount of pay, then that's their choice. So who is he exploiting? If you don't like billionaires,
well, while that's true, let's not act like some companies do some predatory hiring and whatnot. And plus, it's not enough jobs in the United States for every single unemployed person to get one. Did you know that? Yeah, I bet you didn't. That being said, companies do this shit all the time. Okay? It's the reason why we have the minimum wage, because without it, they be giving your ass $2 an hour. They be hitting you with the nickels and dimes coming out your paycheck. That being said, you can't exploit without directly exploiting your workers. What do I mean by that? Well, let's take a look.
In Memphis, Elon Musk is making a play to control the future of artificial intelligence. His company xAI says it has built the biggest supercomputer in the world with lightning speed. Paul Young is the city's mayor.
It represents a tremendous opportunity, an opportunity for us to take our economy to the next level.
xAI says it will create $100 million in revenue and hundreds of jobs. But the digital future needs power, lots of it. These are the gas turbines fueling the supercomputer they call Colossus. They emit hazardous pollutants like formaldehyde and nitrogen oxides, according to the manufacturer.
Just over this fence, you can see and hear the turbines churning 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Without them, the data center does not function. What's not in dispute is the fact that they are polluting the air. What people don't know is how much of that pollution is reaching nearby communities.
Easter Knox lives 2 miles away.
You smelled it?
Yes, Lord.
Right away?
I sure did. Well, after they got situated, I started smelling it.
Knox lives in Boxtown, a mostly black, low-income neighborhood in South Memphis.
The health department.
What a coincidence. Wow. Black, low income. And there's a giant mega center spitting out pollution near you? I'm sure it's just a coincidence. Just a really big one. Let's not worry about that.
I mean, they need to be ashamed.
Where industry has taken a toll for generations.
There's a lot of people out here who got medical problems like breathing issues.
Cancer risks here are 4 times higher than the national average. Cancer killed her father and other relatives, Knox tells us. Life expectancy here is 9 years less than the national average. Elon Musk's company is not to blame for those numbers, but that legacy and those turbines have triggered a backlash against xAI.
Exactly. They might not have been responsible for those, but guess what? They sure aid in the new age. She said you could smell that shit. Look. Having all this wealth and whatnot and trying to advance technology to a degree no one has ever seen before, it comes with its benefits. But you better be damn sure that when you're in these levels, you're exploiting somebody to the highest degree, putting their life in danger. Make no mistake, sacrifices have to be made in order for humanity to advance, for sure. But we ain't gonna act like it's not a tragedy. We ain't just gonna sweep that shit under the rug. We gonna say, hey, this is what's happening. This is what you're doing to these people. But y'all don't want to hear that. Y'all just want to meet ride billionaires and trillionaires soon to be. But yeah, it's whatever.
Hello, everyone.
A recent health department hearing turned into a shouting match. An executive from XAI ducking out a side door.
Don't even want that shit. Look, they don't want that shit here, and I'm all for it. Go and move that shit to somewhere in the middle of the mountains where nobody lives. But yeah, he definitely exploits people. Moving on.
You can stop using the products and the technologies that they create. You're going to be living like a caveman, but you could do that, and you could also stop accepting the jobs that they offer you. So it's not exploitation if a grown consenting adult decides to sign the contract and adhere to the contract that they agreed to during the hiring process. That's not a form of exploitation. Now, would it be good for Elon Musk to do some good things with his money? Probably, but I'm not the one that should have the power to control what another person does with something that they earned, because
I do agree with that. I do agree that no one individual should have the power to tell someone else what to do with their money. This has to be a collective effort. And what do I mean by that? Get the federal government involved. Tax these motherfuckers. Tax they ass. It's no reason why 1% of U.S. households should own 30% of the nation's wealth. That's 1.6 million households. 3.2 million people own $45 trillion. This shit is insane, niggas. Speechless. I'm just speechless. At this point, we just really picking our dystopian future at this point. What y'all want? What y'all want? Y'all want Skynet to take over? Because that's where we leading at this point. Shit, fuck it. Let's go. I was thinking more of a Judge Dredd thing, but AI been blowing up. We going to Skynet, okay? Hopefully we don't get to Warhammer 40K, because that shit would be crazy. But it's looking like the Skynet route to me.
I don't think that it's good for me to be able to have the power to tell somebody else what they have to do with the money that they earned. I'll let the guy who decided or who created a way to catch rockets out of the sky and do Neuralink and all these different things, I'll let him decide the best way to use the money. I think he's a little bit more primed for that. But the truth of the matter, and the elephant in the room, is that it doesn't matter how much Elon Musk does for good with his money, because it'll never be enough, because a lot of these people aren't fueled by actually wanting something good. A lot of these people are fueled by envy. They're envious because Elon Musk has done things that they weren't able to do and took risks that they weren't willing to take in order to get what he got. And now they feel like after he's holding up the trophy, they deserve more and a bigger piece of the pie than what he is willing to agree to. They're envious about his position without understanding what he may have had to sacrifice in order to get there. The amount of time, the financial strain, and the financial stress to invest your own money into something you believe in, developing this idea, an idea that comes from your brain, and then you materialize it and make it into a real thing. I'm not capable.
And I agree to a certain point. First of all, Elon Musk did not get here on his own merit, okay? His parents, rich as fuck. His foundation, stolen company, really. And yeah, whatever you sacrifice, no matter what it is, I don't care if you sacrifice your firstborn son, okay, to the goddess of the moon for riches and wealth. Ain't no way you should have $1 trillion in your personal net worth. It just can't be. It's just no reason to need all that. It's none. If this were going into programs in order to benefit society, all of it, yeah, for sure. I agree. Personally, to have that in your personal funds? No, sir. No fucking way. You got to be cracked out of your mind.
capable of that, so I'm probably not going to make $1 trillion. But if that's Elon Musk's stick, then he's able to make $1 trillion. Also, just imagine the amount of hate. The man's hated by damn near half of the country, because to get to that level, you're probably going to have some level of political connection. So, yeah, I mean, you know, people are envious, and that's the elephant in the room. People are envious about a man and his money without even understanding the things and not even being willing to sacrifice the things and do the things that he was able and willing to do.
Elon Musk is set to be the world's first trillionaire, probably history's first trillionaire. And when I looked up how long 1 trillion seconds is, it is over 31,000 years.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
If Elon Musk is set to be the first trillionaire, then that means there are others soon to follow behind him. There is no reason why there should be billionaires, and damn sure no reason why we should have trillionaires. If we have trillionaires and there are still people out here that are struggling to pay their bills,
look at that.
We literally have people right now that cannot even put food on the table for their family.
Yeah, and I'm sure you drive past them every day in your nice car to get your nice nails done. Is that necessary? So these people will try to convince you that it's all about good, but they have more than others, and these people oftentimes don't do anything for the people who have less than them. You're sitting there with luxury nails that probably cost you $200, and you drove past the exact same people that you're complaining that another person should help. Maybe you should be the change that you want to see in the world. What I'm trying to say here is a given heart is a given heart. I know a man that works a regular job and been working a regular job for all of his life, but for the past 15 years, he's been doing community events for the kids, and that's because he has a giving heart. That's something that's inside of you, and regardless of what you have, if you have more than others, you'll be willing to give a little bit of that to the people that have less than you. But what I'm
yeah. Ultimately, that's true, and like I said before, no single individual has the right to tell somebody else what to do with their money. That's just facts. Elon Musk, do whatever you want. Help the poor, don't help the poor, fuck it, who cares? I'm looking at the government. I ain't talking to billionaires and trillionaires and what they need to do. We're past that shit, okay? We need to talk to the government about this shit. We need to sit them down in the room and say, we got to work something out. It ain't no way you taking away SNAP benefits and keeping the war machine going. It ain't no way you laying off all these government employees because of this fucking shutdown or whatever it is, and congressmen and politicians alike are feeding and stuffing their fat pockets with corrupt money. Ain't no way. You taking 50% of my paycheck. 50%. And these congressmen out here insider trading, making the laws for these companies that they have stock investments in. It's no way I'm going to sit back and say, good job, billionaires. Good job, soon to be trillionaire. You worked hard for all that. You deserve every single penny, because I know it's bullshit. You can meat ride them, spit on it, use both hands if you want. If that's your thing, go on, do it. It ain't me, buddy. It ain't me. Because I'm for the people, and they're not.
Seeing right now is a person that's complaining about somebody who has more than them not willing to give, but you have more than others and you're not willing to give.
We have a fucking trillionaire about to happen. Our government is shut down, but there's a trillionaire in the making. People don't know where their next meal is going to come from, but there's a trillionaire in the making. There are people that quite literally have not been paid in over a month, but there is a trillionaire in the making.
Brother.
There are people right now in Sudan who are being slaughtered, massacred, so much blood that it is being viewed from satellites in outer space.
Yeah, I don't know what the foreign policy, foreign slaughter has to do with America and whatnot. I mean, we got our hands on some stuff, and I think we should get out of there, but we focusing on getting us right. We need to get the people right first.
So we are set to have our first trillionaire. The people in
I don't
Gaza
think money's solving that.
still battling But we are set to see our first trillionaire.
Yeah, those are wholly religious wars because in other countries they care about things outside of materialism. That's something that Americans don't really understand. In other places, there are people who believe things that they're willing to fight and die for outside of materialism. That's a real thing. So money doesn't solve those issues. People will still have those issues. Those are religious and holy wars that money isn't going to solve, and just throwing money at those problems.
You got to throw the money at them in the right way. You can't just directly give them money. That shit just going to fuel the holy war. What you do is you throw money at yourself, go over colonize it, spread your own religion, or hell, better yet, diminish theirs. Kapushk. Easy as pie.
Won't solve those problems. Just think about how much money we already give to Israel. We give them plenty of money. Every problem we need to solve, we go, hey, let's solve this problem by sending Israel another $70 billion or whatever it may be. Yeah, so we already send a bunch of money to these types of issues and to these countries, and oftentimes it doesn't solve the problem.
The Congo is bleeding, and we are set to have our first trillionaire. The people of Sudan are begging to be seen and be heard and be advocated for, but we're set to have our first trillionaire.
And how did you discover that? From being on $1 billion TikTok?
Eat the fucking rich. And honestly, eating them isn't enough.
Yeah, it's envy.
We need to let them burn.
It's envy.
There is no reason ever that one person should have that much amount of wealth when there are millions and millions of humans that are dying, struggling, killing themselves, being murdered endlessly day in and day out. But we're set to have our first trillionaire in human history that we know of.
Look, this is the last thing I want to say. People just have to accept that everything is not for them. We contribute differently to society, and you have to be okay with that. Most people won't contribute anything to society. Me personally, I talk shit for a living. I don't really contribute anything to society. But people like Elon Musk, they make technology that can catch rockets. They make Neuralinks. They make robots. They make automated cars. Their contributions to society are completely different than the average person. And so the average person is not going to get what he has. But you can't be envious over that because you don't understand what he's sacrificing in order to do that. There are some innovators that just want to live their life. They don't care about their kids. They don't want to go to their kids' football games. They don't want to spend time with their wife. All they want to do is be ambitious and to create the ideas, make the ideas that come out of their head into material reality. And if that's what Elon Musk's thing is, and he's capable of doing that, who am I to say that he shouldn't do that or that he shouldn't be compensated for doing that when he sacrifices so much of the human experience in order to do what he's doing? And to be quite frank, I enjoy a lot of the technologies that I get. I'm not creating a phone. I'm not creating the internet. I don't have that brain. So for the people who do come along and create these technologies that can advance humanity, I'm all for it. I love to use the technologies, and I don't want to contribute to building the technologies because I don't know anything about these technologies, and I accept that for myself. I'm not envious at other people for what they have, and if those people want to do something good with their money, that's a good thing, but I don't think it's good for me to have the power to control what those people do with their money. If you try to force people into your idea of good, you end up being the evil one. Let me know in the comments below if this video is a W or L, and give me the HBO special that's out.
Yeah, man, he said a lot of stuff there, but ultimately, him and I just don't agree. And that's fine. That's fine. He's just more on the lines of late stage capitalism. That's the role he wants to go down. I can't stop it. I just can't. He is wrong, though, when he says he doesn't contribute anything. The spread of information and opinions is very valuable, especially with his audience. Wait, what he got here? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Almost a milli? Yeah. Yeah, he got some pull. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. In my opinion, the government should be taking a more proactive role in providing for its people and distributing wealth to the appropriate sources, okay? It's no way one of the greatest countries in the world should have an education system like this. Should have a healthcare system that's predatory to this degree. Should have a prison population that's more than China's. What is going on? There's something deeply embedded into this country. So any billionaire or trillionaire come to me like they earn that shit the legal and non-exploitative way, yeah, you got me fucked up. I'm not believing you, buddy. I'm just not. It's not happening. Ain't no way you gonna tell me you amassed $1 trillion. You're in bed with the president, have multiple connections across Congress and the government as a whole, and you earned every single cent of that $1 trillion. It's just not happening, buddy. But look, let me know what y'all think. I mean, if y'all think I'm wrong, please, you commenting below. If y'all like the video, go ahead and like it. Give my boy PMP a shout out. He got some pretty good ideas. We don't agree, but he's pretty solid. And I'll see y'all in the next one.